We interrupt your...
assets that I'd like to go through who are working on this. The Massachusetts State Police Surge Special Emergency Response Team, the State Police Tactical Operations Unit, the STOP Team, the State Police K-9 Unit, the Gardner Police Department, the Ashburnham Police Department, the VFAS Unit of the State Police, the Violent Fugitive Apprehension Section, the Master State Police Air Wing, Troop C Headquarters out of Holden, and the State Police Detectives assigned to the Worcester County DA's office. So like I said, the search is going to continue. I really don't have too many answers at this point. We're still treating like he is alive and would be somewhere in the woods. We did find a vehicle. The vehicle was located by a hunter. So we're asking anyone with trail cams, any hunters, any people with video cameras at their houses, please give it to the police. I'm going to have the number in a second, Gardner Police or the State Police. It's incredible how often that these tips help us solve crimes, find people. So we're asking the public for all of their help. Right now, I'll turn it with regards to the number for the Gardner Police Chief.
Thank you, DA. Again, I'd appreciate it. We'd appreciate any contact. If anybody could look on any trail cams, specifically in the Old County area of Ashburnham, out to the Route 101 area. Anybody who hunts these areas, could you check your trail cams, see if anything came across? You can contact the Gardner Police Department, 978-632-5600, or any Massachusetts State Police as well.
Captain Egan, if you could just give the number with regards to the Mass State Police.
Sure. Mass State Police Detective Unit, Worcester County, 508-832-9124.
Okay. And again, we're asking for the public's help. The search is going to continue. Right now, the children are still in the custody of the Department of Child and Family Services, and we're just going to take it from there. I can take a couple of questions, but we really don't have much to add.
Joe, have you found anything? There was some radio traffic about some bloody clothes that were found out here. Have you found anything at all?
No, we haven't found any bloody clothes. We have the tire tracks. We know where the car went into the woods. We know the general area. We've gotten some information that's come in with regards to the car itself and possibilities. Right now, we're working on possibilities, and thank God that hunter, I don't know when or where we might have found the car, but there was a bow hunter going through the area and he found the vehicle, immediately notified the Gardner Police.
Did you find a weapon? Any idea on the weapon?
We are assuming that the man is armed with a handgun. We are assuming that, like you said, and the State Police, Gardner Police, Ashburnham Police, and State Police detectives, I mean K-9 to the air, incredible professionals. They're doing an incredible job with regards to this. They're treating it like they have a man who's armed in the woods, and they're going out to take an abundance of caution. They're going out there in numbers, and we ask, please, no one in the public go out and try and look for this guy. If you run into the guy, call the Gardner Police, call the State Police, call the police department, and just back off from anything that you might see, but provide us with the information that you might get.
Any idea when he may have come into the woods?
Yeah, I believe it would have been sometime Sunday.
How big of an area are you looking at?
Well, this is a big area. It's about 400 acres out here, and it's incredible the way they do the work. As they go through the woods, it comes in on a grid. I don't want to go too much into that. I don't want, but they know where they've been and they know where they need to look.
Have the cabins been searched? Have you already looked at all the cabins out here?
That's part of the investigation. Bob, they're not walking by anything that needs to be searched.
But are they still looking at cabins, or have they finished that?
They're looking at everything.
Yeah.
They're looking at everything.
Why was the shelter in place called off? And what's the difference now?
I wasn't involved with that. I don't know why. I think when some information come in, some people reacted quickly. They want, out of an abundance of caution, wanted to make sure that no one was at risk. Okay? So they thought, when they saw the car, they didn't know if the suspect, the person we're looking for, was in the car, not in the car. So there was, I'm pretty sure that's why that was put into place at the time. There was some conversation, and they wanted to act out of an abundance of caution.
I know Mr. Pennington has a military background. Do you think he has the skill set to survive in the woods?
Well, that's part of the training. Those are the questions that the state police have been asking, and they're finding out exactly what training he would have had, wouldn't have had. Yes, that is part of the equation. Yes.
For those of us who are unfamiliar with this area, you said there was a bow hunter here. Can you kind of explain what's in this woods? There are cabins here. This is a place where people go hunting. Is it campgrounds?
The chief can talk to the landscape a little bit better than I can.
This area up here to your right is Camp Collier. It's a land trust. Boy Scouts, churches use it for getaways, things like that. It's very heavily wooded. It's sparse. You can go a long ways without seeing anything. So the grid search is large. at this point in time. We're operating, again, like the DA said, we're operating the assumption that Mr. Pennington is still alive and on the run. We do believe to treat him as he's armed and dangerous, given the circumstances. And again, if anybody sees anything, please report it immediately.
What would you say to people after dark who live around here? Should they be concerned? Should they be worried?
Part of the investigation was the search conducted last night. Certain things, like the DA said, came up last night that we felt comfortable lifting the shelter-in-place order. At the time, there were circumstances, again, out of abundance of caution, that we took to make sure that the residents were safe. I just say, be vigilant, pay attention to your surroundings, and report anything immediately to the police.
Could there possibly be another shelter in place tonight?
We're not going to speculate on that. As the information comes in, we'll deal with it that way. Really can't speculate. I'm just so impressed by the work that all the different police departments working together are doing. You work alone, you go fast. You work together, you go further. And that's just what they're doing right now.
So the car, you think the car was here since Sunday morning, like right after a homicide, he came here?
Bob, I don't know exactly when he got here. I mean, it was found Sunday, but I don't know exactly when it got here. But that started a lot of what you see here now.
And it was deep into the woods? So can you describe
Yeah,
it?
it was a good measure into the woods. Yeah, you couldn't see it from the road. It was a good 1,500 feet. Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. It was.
A cell phone, did he have a cell phone? Did it ping at all? We're hearing all kinds of rumors that it was in a different place.
That's something that's all part of the investigation. Anything with regards to the cell phones, but we got to let them do their job. I can't get too far into that. Anything that might potentially jeopardize the investigation.
That's going to be all the questions. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Prior
Prior to Sunday, had your office or the chief, had you guys had any contact or any kind of history with Mr. Pennington or the Pennington family?
Now,
Guys, I think that was going to be all the questions. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you very much.
what was it? There was?